It was a bright Saturday morning. The golden sun touched every window in the small town of Hillbrook, painting the streets with warmth and light. Birds chirped outside, and the smell of fresh cakes floated from a nearby bakery. For most people, it was just another beautiful morning. But for Emma Collins, this was the most special day of the year. Her birthday. She woke up early, full of excitement. The clock had just struck 7 when she sat up in her bed, smiling at the pink balloons her mother had secretly tied to her door. She stretched her arms and whispered to herself, "Today's going to be perfect." Downstairs, her mom, Mrs. Collins, was already busy setting up decorations. Streamers hung from the ceiling, a large cake box sat on the table, and the smell of chocolate filled the air. Everything looked magical. "Good morning, birthday girl," her mom said warmly. Emma ran down the stairs, her long brown hair bouncing behind her. "Mom, you woke up early for this?" Her mother laughed. "Of course, sweetheart. My little girl turns 18 today. It has to be special." Emma smiled brightly. But behind that happiness, she was thinking about one person, her best friend, Lily Parker. They had been inseparable since they were 10. They went to the same school, shared secrets, and promised to always be there for each other. Today, Lily was helping her plan the biggest birthday party she had ever had with their classmates. Music, lights, everything. Emma couldn't wait to see her. Just as she thought of her, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Lily. "Lily, morning, birthday girl. Ready for the big day? I'll be there soon." Emma smiled, typing back quickly. "Emma, can't wait. Thank you for helping me with all this. You're the best." But what Emma didn't know was that on the other side of the town, Lily stared at that message with a faint smirk, not of happiness, but of something else. Jealousy. Lily sat on her bed, scrolling through Emma's social media. Hundreds of birthday wishes had already started pouring in. Photos, comments, likes, all for Emma. Everyone adored her, her kindness, her beauty, her charm. Teachers loved her, boys wanted to talk to her, and girls wanted to be her friend. And that included Lily, or at least, it used to. For years, Lily had lived in Emma's shadow. Emma was always the good one, the pretty one, the star. Even when they walked together, people noticed Emma first. Lily hated that feeling of being the other one, the helper. The friend who carried bags, who fixed makeup, who stood beside but never in the spotlight. She closed her phone, exhaled sharply, and looked into her mirror. "Maybe today," she whispered, "that changes." By noon, the house was glowing. Fairy lights wrapped around the trees, colorful ribbons decorated the porch. The garden sparkled under the afternoon sun. A small stage was set up for games and music. Everything looked straight out of a dream. Emma twirled in her birthday dress, soft blue with white pearls at the sleeves. She looked stunning, yet graceful. As she checked herself in the mirror, she heard the front door open. Guess who's here? It was Lily. Emma ran to her and hugged her tight. "Lily, you made it." Lily smiled, but it wasn't quite real. "Of course. I wouldn't miss it for the world." She looked around at the decorations. Everything so perfect, so beautiful, and inside her heart a sharp sting of envy grew stronger. "You did all this?" Lily asked. Emma nodded proudly. "Well, Mom helped. And you'll help me finish the final touches, right?" "Sure," Lily said, forcing a smile. "You can count on me." They spent the next few hours preparing together, arranging food tables, setting up speakers, placing gift boxes neatly near the entrance. To everyone watching, they looked like the best of friends. But inside, Lily's thoughts grew darker. When Emma wasn't looking, Lily whispered quietly, "You think you have it all, don't you?" By 5 p.m., guests began arriving. The house buzzed with energy, laughter, chatter, music. Emma greeted everyone warmly, hugging friends, taking selfies, thanking everyone for coming. She was glowing with happiness. Lily stood near the corner, watching. Every few seconds, someone called Emma's name, gave her gifts, praised her dress, told her how beautiful she looked. Not one person noticed Lily. She crossed her arms, her jaw tightening. Then her friend Zoe came up behind her. "Hey, Lily. Why so quiet?" Just watching, Lily replied softly. Zoe smiled. Emma looks amazing, right? She's like a princess tonight. Lily forced a laugh. Yeah, she always is. When it was time for games, Emma called everyone to the backyard. Fairy lights glowed above, and laughter filled the air. They played charades, danced, and shared funny stories. Emma's laughter echoed through the night like music. But the happier Emma looked, the more bitter Lily felt. And when Emma's boyfriend Daniel arrived with a bouquet of red roses, Lily's heart nearly burst. Happy birthday. Daniel said, handing her the flowers. Everyone clapped. Some teased, some whistled. Lily stood still, pretending to laugh with them, but her hands clenched tightly. She thought, even Daniel only sees her. Later that evening, as the clock neared 9, it was time for the cake. A giant 3-layered chocolate cake sat in the center of the garden, with candles glowing softly. Everyone gathered around, chanting, "Happy birthday to you." Emma smiled, cheeks glowing red. She looked at Lily beside her and said sweetly, "Come on, Lily, help me blow the candles. You're part of this too." That one kind sentence, meant with love, cut Lily like a knife. Everyone's eyes turned to Lily. For a moment she froze. Then she smiled weakly and leaned forward. But in her heart, anger roared like a fire. Part of this? She thought. I've always been part of your story, Emma. Never mine. When Emma closed her eyes to make a wish, Lily noticed a small cup of juice sitting near the edge of the table. And in that moment, a dark idea crossed her mind. What if something small went wrong tonight? Just something to make her look clumsy? Nothing serious. Just enough to stop her from being perfect. She didn't realize that something small would change everything. The song ended. Make a wish. Someone shouted. Emma smiled and took a deep breath, her eyes sparkling in the candlelight as she leaned forward to blow the candles. Lily's hand, pretending to fix the cake, accidentally nudged the table. The cake stand wobbled, and in one slow, dreadful moment, the entire cake tilted forward and collapsed right onto Emma's dress. Gasps filled the garden. The laughter stopped. Phones froze mid-recording. Emma stood still, chocolate and cream dripping down her dress. "Oh my God," someone whispered. Lily instantly stepped forward. "Oh no, I'm so sorry, Em. I didn't mean to," but everyone had seen the look in her eyes before it happened. Everyone had seen her hand move first. Emma looked at her shocked, speechless, hurt. Her lips trembled as she whispered, "Lily." "Why?" the crowd murmured. Daniel ran to get tissues. Her mom rushed over and guests began whispering behind their hands. She did it on purpose. She looked jealous. Did you see her smile before it fell? Lily felt her heartbeat pounding in her chest. She wanted to disappear. She wanted to say it wasn't true, but the truth was right there, smeared across Emma's dress. For the rest of the evening, everything felt broken. The music stopped. The laughter faded. Guests quietly said goodbye, leaving behind an awkward silence. Emma changed into another dress and sat alone in her room, wiping away silent tears. She didn't yell, she didn't curse, she just looked at an old photo of her and Lily as kids, smiling with ice cream on their faces. Downstairs, Lily stood frozen near the door. She knew she should go and apologize, but her pride and her guilt were fighting inside her. One part whispered, "Say sorry." Another screamed, "It's not your fault. She always gets everything." Finally, she walked away without saying a word. That night, when Emma lay in bed, she replayed the moment in her head again and again. The cake, the look in Lily's eyes, the whispers she couldn't understand what went wrong. Lily was her best friend. Why would she do that? A soft tear rolled down her cheek as she whispered into the dark, "Maybe I never knew her at all." And across town, Lily sat on her bed, staring at her phone. Videos of the cake fall had already started spreading among classmates' stories. Someone had posted a slow-motion clip, Emma falling back, the cake hitting her, and Lily's shocked face right beside it. Comments flooded under it. "Best friend, huh? That was cruel. Jealous much." Lily's hands trembled. She threw her phone on the bed, breathing hard. For the first time that night, Her heart ached, not from jealousy, but from fear. Fear of what she had just done. But the damage was already done. And deep down, she knew one thing. Karma had already started its work. The night after the birthday party felt heavier than usual. The laughter that once echoed in Emma's backyard was replaced by silence. The same fairy lights that had shined brightly just hours before now flickered weakly in the cool night wind, as if they, too, were tired of pretending everything was perfect. Inside her room, Emma sat by the window, wrapped in a blanket. Her phone kept buzzing with messages. "Are you okay? We saw what happened." Can you believe she did that? She didn't answer any of them. She just stared out into the dark street, her eyes red and tired every time she blinked. She saw the same picture, Lily's hand, the cake falling, and that strange look in her best friend's eyes. It wasn't shock. It wasn't sadness. It was something else. Something cold. Something jealous. Across town, Lily sat on her own bed, wide awake. The video of the cake fall had already gone viral among their classmates. Every few minutes, new comments appeared. Fake friend alert. So mean. I used to like Lily. Not anymore. She scrolled through the comments until her eyes blurred. Her stomach twisted with guilt. Then anger. Then guilt again. She threw her phone on the floor and buried her face in her hands. It was just an accident, she whispered to herself. Why won't anyone believe me? But deep down, she knew the truth. It wasn't an accident. She had pushed that table just enough to make it fall. She didn't mean for it to go that far. She just wanted something small, something to stop Emma from being so perfect for one night. But that one jealous move had destroyed everything. The next morning, Emma's mother came into her room with a soft knock. "Sweetheart," she said gently, "you should eat something." Emma shook her head. "I'm not hungry," Mrs. Collins sighed. "Don't let one mistake ruin your birthday memories." Lily probably didn't mean it. Emma's voice was quiet. Then why did she smile? Her mother didn't answer. She just hugged her daughter tightly. Sometimes people act out of emotions they don't understand. But time will show you who truly cares. Emma nodded weakly, but her heart still felt broken. The girl she had trusted more than anyone had embarrassed her in front of everyone she knew. How could things ever go back to normal? At school on Monday, whispers followed Emma everywhere. Students looked at her with sympathy, and at Lily with disgust. In the hallway, Emma walked quietly, trying not to make eye contact. She could hear the whispers behind her back. That's Emma, the one who got cake on her birthday. Her best friend did it on purpose. I saw the video. She looked evil. Emma pretended not to hear. She just wanted to get through the day. When she reached her locker, Lily was standing there waiting. "Hey," Lily said softly. Her voice trembled. "Can we talk?" Emma froze. For a moment, she wanted to walk away. But part of her, the kind, forgiving part, couldn't ignore her best friend. "Okay," she said quietly. They walked to a quiet spot behind the gym, where no one could hear them. The cold wind brushed past as the two stood facing each other for the first time since that night. Lily opened her mouth, but no words came out. She stared at Emma, her clean uniform, her calm face, and the guilt inside her grew. Finally, Emma spoke. "Why did you do it, Lily?" Lily blinked fast. "It was an accident. I swear." Emma shook her head slowly. Everyone saw the video. Lily looked down. "I didn't mean to make the cake fall. I just wanted people to notice me too." Her voice cracked, but Emma's heart felt numb. "You humiliated me, Lily, in front of everyone." "I know," Lily said quickly. "I'm sorry, okay? I made a mistake. Her eyes filled with tears. "I was tired of always being in your shadow." Emma took a step back. "My shadow? Lily, you're my best friend. I never tried to outshine you." "I know," Lily whispered. "But everyone treats you like you're perfect. And I just wanted one moment where I wasn't invisible." The words stung. Not because they were cruel, but because they sounded so honest. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Finally, Emma said softly, "You could have just told me. Lily, you didn't have to hurt me." And with that, she turned and walked away, leaving Lily standing there. Alone, surrounded by the echo of her own guilt. Days passed. But the tension didn't fade. If anything, it grew worse. In class, Lily sat alone. No one wanted to talk to her. Even the teachers gave her strange looks. Her friends stopped texting her. The seat beside her felt emptier than ever. At lunch, she watched as Emma laughed quietly with another group of friends. It wasn't the same bright laughter as before. It was softer, careful, but it was still there. Lily's heart twisted again. She wanted to say something, to fix everything. But every time she tried, words died in her throat. They all hate me now, she thought. Even Emma. She stared down at her food, pushing it around with a fork. Across the room, a few girls whispered and giggled while looking at her phone screen. Lily didn't have to guess what they were watching. It was the same video again. That evening, Lily walked home slowly. She could feel eyes on her, could hear laughter echoing in her head even when no one was around. Every passing day made her guilt heavier, her world smaller. At home, her mother noticed something was wrong. "Lily, what's going on?" "You look upset," Lily. "Just school stuff, Mom." Her mother smiled gently. "Don't worry too much. Friends fight sometimes." Lily forced a smile. "Yeah, sometimes." But in her heart, she knew this wasn't just a fight. It was betrayal, the kind that breaks something you can't fix with words. Meanwhile, Emma tried her best to move on. She spent more time studying, joined the art club, and surrounded herself with positive people. But no matter how busy she got, she couldn't completely forget Lily. Late at night, she'd scroll through old photos, the two of them laughing, wearing matching bracelets, making silly faces. Each picture was a reminder of a friendship that once felt unbreakable. She whispered to herself, "Where did we go wrong?" One afternoon, a teacher asked the class to work in pairs for a project. Fate, or maybe karma, paired Emma and Lily together. The classroom went quiet when their names were called. Lily looked at Emma nervously. Emma hesitated but nodded politely. "Okay, let's get it done." They sat together in silence, flipping through books and writing notes. For the first few minutes, neither spoke. The air between them felt heavy, full of unspoken words. Finally, Lily said, "I really am sorry, Emma." "I heard you before." "Mean it," Lily continued. "You were my best friend." "I missed that." Emma's pen stopped. She looked at her for a moment, her eyes soft but distant. "Then why did you ruin it?" Lily swallowed hard. "Because I was stupid." Emma sighed. "You weren't stupid. You were jealous." That word jealous hit Lily like a slap. Her throat tightened. "Yeah," she said quietly. "I guess I was." The teacher called time. Everyone started packing up. As they walked out of the classroom, Emma said, "Lily, I don't hate you, but I can't trust you yet." Those words echoed in Lily's head long after she went home. That night, Lily sat by her window, looking up at the moon. The same moon that had shined over Emma's birthday party still hung in the sky bright, distant and untouchable. She took out her phone and opened the old photos of them together. One picture showed them holding hands, laughing on a roller coaster. Another baking cookies, faces covered in flour. Tears filled her eyes. "I ruined everything," she whispered. A notification popped up on her screen. Someone had tagged her again in the cake video. She tapped it. There she was, frozen forever in that humiliating moment. The jealous glance, the smirk, the fall. For the first time, she really saw what everyone else saw. Not a mistake, not an accident, but a girl consumed by jealousy. She threw her phone aside and covered her face. "I hate myself," she sobbed. Outside, thunder rumbled. Rain began to pour, washing over the town like the sky itself wanted to clean away the sins of the night. But guilt couldn't be washed away so easily. The next morning, Lily didn't go to school. She stayed in bed, staring at the ceiling. Her phone kept buzzing, but she didn't touch it. Her heart felt heavy, her eyes swollen from crying. Meanwhile, Emma sat in class, glancing at the empty seat beside her. For a moment, she felt something, not anger, not sadness, just a quiet ache. maybe forgiveness wasn't impossible. But it would take time, and somewhere deep inside, both girls knew the story was far from over. Because karma hadn't finished teaching its lesson yet. The days after the school project passed slowly. The air between Emma and Lily remained heavy, full of silence, guilt, and things neither dared to say out loud. People still whispered when Lily walked by. Some laughed behind her back. Others avoided her completely. Her name had become a quiet warning. Don't be like her. Every morning, she walked through the school gate with her head down, pretending she didn't hear the laughter. But deep down, she did. Every word stabbed like a needle, and every time she saw Emma smiling again. Talking to new friends, that same old jealousy returned. Crawling back into her heart like a shadow she couldn't escape, she told herself she had changed. She told herself she wanted to fix things. But one afternoon, that changed. It started on a Friday. The final school bell rang, and students rushed out, laughing and shouting, ready for the weekend. Lily walked alone down the corridor, clutching her books. As she turned a corner, she heard familiar voices. It was Emma talking with Zoe and Daniel. They didn't see Lily yet. She's getting better, Zoe said, smiling. I'm glad you're moving on, Emma nodded quietly. Yeah, I guess it's time to stop thinking about what happened. Daniel chuckled. You're too nice, Emma. If someone did that to me, I'd never forgive them. Lily froze, just behind the wall. Her heart started pounding. Zoe sighed. Honestly, I never liked Lily that much. She always seemed fake. Emma's voice was soft. She wasn't fake. Just lost, maybe. I hope she finds her way back. Lily stepped back quietly, her hands trembling. She wanted to run. But something inside her, something small and bitter, whispered, See, they still talk about you. You'll always be the mistake in her story. Her eyes filled with tears, but she blinked them away. By the time she reached home that evening, a dangerous idea had already started forming in her mind. She sat at her desk, staring at her phone. Pictures of Emma filled her screen again, laughing, posing with her new friends, living happily. Lily whispered. She moved on like nothing happened. And I'm the villain now. Her reflection in the dark phone screen looked cold, distant, like someone she didn't recognize anymore. She leaned back in her chair, whispering to herself, if everyone already sees me as bad, then maybe it doesn't matter what I do. The thought scared her. But it also thrilled her. That's when she decided she would make them all see her differently. She would make them regret turning their backs on her. And to do that, she needed a plan. The next Monday, Lily walked into school with a new look. Her hair tied up, bright lipstick, black jacket, confident, bold. Everyone noticed her immediately. Some whispered, Is that Lily? Even Emma looked surprised when she saw her. Morning, Lily said, flashing a quick smile before walking past. Her voice was calm, almost proud. Zoe frowned. What's her problem now? Emma shook her head. Maybe she's just trying to move on. But Lily wasn't trying to move on. She was trying to take control. During lunch, she sat at a table near the back of the cafeteria, scrolling on her phone. Her classmates' conversations buzzed around her, rumors, gossip, laughter. She opened a new social media account under a fake name, TruthTeller_07. Her plan was simple. Expose secrets, small ones, nothing too serious. Just enough to make people talk, and to remind them that she mattered. The first post went up that afternoon. Some people act sweet but lie to teachers for extra grades. Guess who? #TruthTime within minutes. Comments exploded. Everyone tried to guess who it was about. Lily watched from her corner, smiling secretly. It worked by the next morning. 3 more posts appeared about classmates, about teachers, even about a couple who'd secretly broken up. The account became a school-wide mystery, and everyone loved the drama. But the 4th post was different. This time, Lily wrote something she shouldn't have. Perfect, Emma? Not so perfect after all. Some people hide behind fake smiles. She didn't name her directly, but everyone knew who she meant. By the next day, students were whispering again. But not about Lily this time. About Emma. Emma noticed it immediately. In class, People avoided looking at her. Some laughed when she passed. At first, she didn't understand why, until Zoe showed her the post. I think it's about you. Emma stared at the screen, her face pale. Why would someone write this? Zoe frowned. Because people are jealous. Ignore it. But deep down, Emma already had a feeling who was behind it. After school, she waited near the gates. When Lily walked out, Emma stepped in front of her. Was it you? She asked quietly. Lily blinked, pretending to be confused. What are you talking about? The post, Emma said. You think I wouldn't recognize your words? Lily laughed softly. You think I have time for that? You're not the center of everything, Emma. Emma's voice was calm but cold. You hurt me once, Lily. Don't do it again. Lily's smile faded. For a second, guilt flashed in her eyes, but she pushed it away. Maybe you deserve to know what it feels like. Emma stepped closer. To feel what? To lose control, Lily whispered, and then she walked away. That night, Lily couldn't sleep. The more attention the posts got, the more powerful she felt, and the guilt that had once crushed her started to fade. People were finally talking about her again. She mattered. But somewhere deep inside, a small voice whispered, This isn't you. She ignored it. By midnight, she posted again. Some friends pretend to forgive but talk behind your back. Hypocrisy at its best. The next morning, half the school believed Emma had betrayed someone. Even Daniel looked unsure when he saw her. Tell me that post isn't true, he said. Emma shook her head quickly. Of course it's not. But rumors move faster than truth. And soon, her friends began to drift away, afraid of being the next target. Lily watched quietly from the corner of the hallway, her eyes cold. For the first time in weeks, she wasn't the outcast. Emma was, but karma, as always, had its own plan. That afternoon, during computer class, the teacher asked everyone to open their browsers. Lily didn't realize she was still logged in to the anonymous account. Truthteller_07. The teacher walked past and froze when he saw her screen. Lily, what is this? Lily's blood turned cold. She tried to close it, but it was too late. The teacher clicked the profile, and the posts filled the screen. Within minutes, the truth spread across the room like wildfire. Students gasped. Some whispered, others stared in shock. Even Emma, sitting at the front, turned around slowly, eyes wide. Lily felt the world spin around her. Her throat went dry. It's not what it looks like, she stammered. But it was exactly what it looked like by the end of the day. Lily sat in the principal's office, her head bowed low. Her mother was called, her phone was confiscated, and the school decided on suspension. The principal's voice was stern. You not only hurt your friend, but you spread lies about others. This behavior can't be ignored. Lily nodded weakly. Her eyes filled with tears. I didn't mean to, the principal interrupted. You did. And now you must face the result. When she left the office, Emma stood outside, waiting. She didn't say anything, just looked at her. For a moment, their eyes met, one full of regret, the other full of disappointment. And without a word, Emma turned and walked away. Lily stood there, frozen, watching her go. Her plan had finally made her the center of attention, but not in the way she wanted. That night, she sat on her bed again, staring at her reflection in the mirror. Her makeup was smudged, her hair messy, her eyes red from crying. She looked nothing like the confident girl from earlier that week. She whispered, "Why do I keep doing this?" Her voice cracked. "Why can't I stop ruining things?" There was no answer. Only silence. Outside, the rain began again, soft, steady, endless. And as the thunder rolled over the town, Lily realized something for the first time. No matter how many plans she made, she couldn't run away from herself. The week after Lily's suspension was heavy and quiet. The once lively girl who loved attention now barely spoke to anyone. Her phone stayed silent, her social apps empty. At home, her mother barely looked at her. You embarrassed yourself. And this family, her mother said one evening, folding her arms. What did that girl ever do to you? Lily didn't answer. What could she say? That jealousy had made her blind. That she wanted to feel important, even if it meant hurting someone else. She just lowered her eyes and whispered, "I'm sorry." But sorry didn't fix anything now. At school, things were worse. Everyone knew what she had done. Her classmates stopped sitting near her. Even teachers avoided calling on her during lessons. And every time she walked past the hallway, she could feel the whispers follow her like shadows. That's the girl who made the fake account. Can you believe she did that to her own best friend? No one said her name anymore. She was just that girl. Lily tried to keep her head down, but it didn't matter. The guilt followed her everywhere. One Friday morning, she overheard something that made her stomach twist. Emma was having another birthday party, the first one since everything that happened. Everyone's invited. Us. Zoe said cheerfully in class. It's going to be at her uncle's garden. Big lights, music, food, everything. Someone asked, "Is Lily coming?" Zoe rolled her eyes. "Please." After what she did? No way. Lily pretended not to hear. But inside, it felt like someone had punched her. She thought about the last party when everything was perfect. She and Emma had laughed together like sisters. And now, she wasn't even allowed near her. That night, Lily lay awake, staring at the ceiling. She wanted to forget. She wanted to move on. But the thought of Emma's party, the laughter, the fun, the people, it haunted her. She imagined them all smiling, pretending she never existed. She whispered to herself, maybe I should show up. Just to say sorry. But another voice inside her, darker, sharper, whispered back. Or maybe you just want to be seen again. She closed her eyes tightly, but the thought stayed. And before she realized it, she had made up her mind. She would go. Just for a moment. Just to see. Saturday came quickly. The evening sky turned golden as the sun began to set. The streets were alive with weekend laughter. Lily stood in front of her mirror, staring at her reflection. She had spent hours deciding what to wear, not too flashy, not too dull. Something that said she wasn't broken, even if she felt that way inside. She wore a soft blue dress and a light jacket. Her hair was tied loosely. She took a deep breath. I'm not going there to fight, she told herself. I just want to make peace. Her hands trembled as she grabbed her small gift, a tiny silver bracelet she had bought for Emma months ago, but never gave. She slipped it into her bag and walked out the door. The party lights were visible even from down the street, strings of golden bulbs glowing in the garden, laughter floating through the cool night air. Music played softly. The place looked beautiful. Lily hesitated at the gate, watching from a distance. She could see Emma laughing near the cake table, surrounded by friends. She looked happy, truly happy. For a moment, Lily smiled sadly. She deserves it, she thought. She really does. But as she turned to leave, someone's voice called, "Lily?" It was Daniel, Emma's friend. He looked surprised. "What are you doing here?" Lily froze. I just came to say happy birthday. I wasn't planning to stay." Daniel looked unsure. "You know you weren't invited?" "I know," Lily said softly. "I just wanted to do the right thing for once." He stared at her for a moment, then sighed. "Wait here. I'll tell Emma." Lily stood nervously at the gate, her hands cold. She could hear music, laughter, and clinking glasses. After a few minutes, Daniel returned. She said. He paused. She said, "You can come in for a minute. Just be respectful, okay?" Lily nodded quickly, her eyes bright with gratitude. "Thank you. I just need a minute." She stepped inside slowly. The grass felt soft under her shoes, the air warm with the scent of cake and candles. A few guests stopped talking when they saw her. Some frowned. Others whispered. Lily ignored them. Her eyes were fixed on Emma. Emma stood near the cake table wearing a simple white dress. The glow of the lights made her look almost unreal, like something pure Lily couldn't touch. Lily walked toward her, heart pounding. "Hi, Emma." Emma turned, surprise flickering in her eyes. "Lily, you came. I just wanted to give you this, Lily said quietly, pulling out the small box. It's for you. I bought it a long time ago. Emma looked at the box for a second, then took it gently. Thank you, Lily nodded, her voice trembling. I know sorry doesn't mean much now, but I really am. I ruined everything and I hurt you. I just wanted to tell you that. For a moment, there was silence. Even the music seemed to fade. Then Emma sighed softly. Lily, I believe you're sorry, but trust doesn't come back overnight. Lily nodded, tears filling her eyes. I understand. Emma gave a small, polite smile. I hope you find peace, Lily. That was it. No anger, no forgiveness. Just quiet truth. Lily forced a smile. Goodbye, Emma. She turned to leave, but something strange caught her attention. Near the back of the garden, she saw a group of students whispering and pointing. At her stomach tightened. Please not again, she thought. Then she heard it laughter. Sharp, mocking laughter. Look. The drama queen showed up again. One of the boys joked. Another added, Careful, she might make a post about it later. People chuckled. Lily's hands clenched. She looked at Emma, hoping she would stop them, but Emma was busy cutting the cake, unaware. The laughter grew louder. Someone even clapped mockingly. Her face burned with shame. Not again. Not again. Lily tried to walk away quietly, but one of the boys shouted, Hey, Lily, want to ruin this party too? Everyone laughed. Her chest tightened. Her breath quickened. Without realizing, she turned around and shouted, Enough. I came to say sorry, not to be treated like trash. The laughter stopped. All eyes turned toward her. Even Emma froze, the knife still in her hand. Lily's voice cracked. You all think you're perfect? You've all done things you regret. But when I make one mistake, I'm suddenly the monster. No one answered. The only sound was the wind blowing softly through the trees. Lily's tears began to fall. I'm not proud of what I did, but I'm still human. Emma stepped forward slowly. Lily, calm down. But Lily shook her head. You don't get it, Emma. You all moved on, and I was left behind. Alone. Every single day. Her voice trembled. Do you know what it feels like to wake up and hate yourself? To wish you could take it all back, but it's too late? Emma looked at her with sad eyes. Yes, she whispered. I do. That silence broke something inside Lily. She covered her face and turned to run. But suddenly, her foot caught the edge of a wire near the table. The cake stand wobbled. Someone shouted, Watch out! The table tipped, and the huge cake fell to the ground with a crash. Everyone gasped. Lily froze, horrified. The frosting splattered across her dress. The candles scattered. The music stopped, and once again. All eyes were on her. For a moment, no one spoke. Then someone muttered, Unbelievable. Another said, She ruined it again. The whispers began to rise like a storm. Lily looked around, panic filling her chest. I didn't mean to. It was an accident. But no one believed her. Zoe folded her arms. Of course. Another accident, right? Emma stood still, staring at the ruined cake, then at Lily. Her face was unreadable. Lily's voice broke. Emma, please, I didn't. Emma finally spoke. Lily, maybe it's best if you go. Those words hit like a slap. Lily's tears blurred everything. I'm sorry, she whispered, her voice barely audible. Then she turned and ran through the gate, out into the dark street, her sobs echoing behind her. The night air was cold, but she barely felt it. Her heart pounded painfully, and her breath came in gasps. She walked aimlessly down the road, her shoes wet with grass and frosting. She stopped near the park bench, where she and Emma used to sit after school. She dropped down, hugging her knees. Why does this keep happening? She whispered. Why can't I just fix it? She stared up at the stars, tears streaming down her face. I didn't mean to ruin anything. But the world stayed quiet. Somewhere in the distance, fireworks went off, probably from the party. The colors filled the sky, beautiful and bright. Lily watched them through her tears. "Happy birthday, Emma," she whispered softly. Meanwhile, back at the party, Emma stood silently, watching the broken cake on the ground. Zoe muttered, "Good thing she's gone." But Emma didn't answer. Something about Lily's face, her trembling voice, kept replaying in her mind. For the first time, she didn't feel angry. She felt pity. Daniel walked up beside her. "You okay?" Emma nodded slowly. "Yeah, but I don't think she is." She looked toward the dark street where Lily had run off, and deep down a strange feeling crept into her heart. Something told her this story between them wasn't over yet. The night was silent after the storm of emotions. The laughter from Emma's party had faded long ago, replaced by the distant hum of cars and the soft rustle of trees. But Lily couldn't sleep. She sat on her bed, her eyes swollen from crying, her phone screen glowing faintly in the dark room. Her blue dress, now stained with frosting and dirt, lay crumpled in the corner, a painful reminder of how the night had gone wrong. She whispered to herself, "Every time I try to fix things, I only make them worse." Her voice cracked. Echoing in the quiet, the clock on the wall ticked slowly. 11:47 p.m., her room was filled with shadows, the kind that made everything look sadder, colder. She stared at her phone, half expecting someone to text her. No one did. "No, are you okay?" "No, it's fine. Nothing, just silence." After a few minutes, she unlocked her phone again and opened her messages. Her last text to Emma, "I'm sorry," was still marked unread. She typed another message, her hand shaking. "Lily, I didn't mean to ruin your party. I tripped. Please believe me." She waited. Watched the screen. No reply. She typed again. "Lily, I just wanted to do the right thing. I'm not your enemy anymore, Emma. I promise." Still nothing. Lily sighed and set the phone aside. She lay back on her pillow, staring at the ceiling. Tears rolled down her cheeks silently. The guilt in her chest was like a heavy stone. She couldn't move. "Maybe Emma's better off without me," she thought. "Maybe everyone is." Her eyes closed slowly, but her mind refused to rest. Meanwhile, at Emma's house, the party had ended hours ago. The lights in the garden were still glowing faintly as her parents cleaned up what was left. Emma sat on her bed, holding the small silver bracelet Lily had given her. She turned it over in her hand, feeling its weight. Despite everything, the gift was beautiful, simple, thoughtful, full of memories. Zoe's voice echoed in her mind from earlier that night. "She doesn't deserve your sympathy, Emma." But another voice, quieter, gentler, whispered back, "What if she really was sorry this time?" Emma sighed deeply. She wanted to believe Lily, she really did. But trust was like glass. Once shattered, it could never be whole again. Still, that look on Lily's face before she ran away, broken, desperate, wouldn't leave her mind. She looked at the bracelet again and whispered, "Maybe I was too harsh." Then her phone buzzed. It was a message. From Lily. Emma hesitated. Her thumb hovered over the screen. She read the first line, "I didn't mean to ruin your party." Her chest tightened. She read the second one, "I'm not your enemy anymore, Emma. I promise." For a moment, she didn't know what to feel. Part of her wanted to reply, to say it was okay, to tell Lily she believed her. But another part remembered the fake posts, the betrayal, the endless rumors. Her fingers trembled. She typed something, then deleted it. Typed again. Deleted again. Finally, she locked her phone and placed it face down on the nightstand. "Not tonight," she whispered to herself. "Not yet." She turned off the light and lay down. The bracelet still glimmered faintly in her hand. Back in her small bedroom across town, Lily's phone buzzed suddenly. Her eyes opened. Her heart jumped. She grabbed the phone, hoping, praying it was Emma, but it wasn't. It was a message from an unknown number. Unknown. "You think saying sorry fixes everything?" Lily froze. Her hands turned cold. She stared at the screen, confused. "Who could it be?" She replied slowly. "Lily, who is this?" No answer. A few seconds later, another message appeared. Unknown. You ruined more than just a birthday, Lily. You ruined someone's life. Her stomach tightened. What? What is this? She whispered. Lily, please stop texting me. Who are you? This time, the reply came instantly. Unknown, you'll find out soon enough. Lily dropped the phone onto her bed, her heart racing. Was this a joke? A prank from one of her classmates? She checked the number. It wasn't saved in her contacts. No name, no clue. Her mind started spinning. Maybe it's Zoe or Daniel or someone who still hates me for what I did. She got up and locked her bedroom door just to feel safe. But the messages didn't stop. Unknown, you want forgiveness? Then tell the truth. Unknown, tell Emma everything, what really happened. Unknown, or I will. Lily's hands shook violently. She stared at the words, her breath coming fast. What do they mean? What really happened? She whispered, because in her mind, she had told the truth. She had made mistakes, yes, but there wasn't anything else to confess. Was there? The clock struck 12:03 a.m. Another message arrived. Unknown. Check your window. Lily's head snapped toward it. The curtains swayed slightly in the breeze. Outside, the street was quiet, dimly lit by a single flickering lamppost. She walked slowly toward the window, her feet trembling. She peered outside. No one. Only shadows. Her reflection stared back at her, pale and frightened. Suddenly, a sound tap. Tap, tap. A soft knock on the glass. Lily jumped back, her heart pounding so fast it hurt. She waited. Frozen. Nothing. Silence again. She slowly pulled the curtains shut and sat back on her bed, clutching her phone tightly. Her breathing was uneven. Her mind screamed, "It's just a prank. Someone's trying to scare you." But deep down, she wasn't sure. She whispered shakily, "Please stop. I just want to start over." The phone buzzed again. Unknown. Then do the right thing before it's too late, and then. Nothing more. The next morning, Lily woke up with swollen eyes. She hadn't slept. Her phone lay next to her, the last message still glowing on the screen. She checked the number again. It was gone. Deleted. No history. No trace, as if the messages had never been sent. Her chest tightened. Was I dreaming? She whispered, but she remembered the sound, that tapping on the glass. No, it wasn't a dream. She stared at her reflection in the mirror. Pale face, messy hair, frightened eyes. She whispered, "What truth are they talking about?" Later that day at school, she saw Emma in the hallway. Their eyes met for a brief second, Emma's gaze soft, unsure. Lily wanted to speak, to ask if she got the messages too, but something stopped her. She didn't want to sound crazy, so she just whispered, "Hi." Emma nodded slightly. "Hi," and walked past. But as Lily turned to leave, she saw something that made her blood run cold. On her locker, written in red marker, were the same words from the message, "Tell the truth." Lily, her heart raced. She looked around. The hallway was crowded, students laughing, talking. Unaware, she stepped closer to the writing, her hands shaking. Who did this? She whispered. No one answered. But somewhere deep down, she began to feel that maybe the truth she thought she knew wasn't the whole truth after all. That night, when she returned home, she found another message waiting for her. Unknown. You can't hide forever. The past always comes back. Lily's eyes widened. She dropped the phone, her hands trembling. The screen went black for a moment, then lit up again with one final message. Unknown. Check the old photos. You'll remember what you did. Lily froze. Slowly, she opened her gallery. Hundreds of pictures from school, parties, old memories flashed before her eyes, and then she saw it. A photo she didn't remember taking. It was blurry. Taken at night, Emma, crying. Lily, standing behind her, and someone else's hand holding a phone. The caption under it read, "The night everything changed." Lily dropped the phone, her heart hammering. What? What happened that night? She whispered, and for the first time she realized there was something about the past she didn't remember. Something that someone didn't want her to forget. The music had faded into a soft, dreamy tune, and the lights around the backyard glowed like stars scattered across the earth. Laughter still echoed in the air, but something had changed. The warm feeling of celebration had turned into an uneasy calm. People were smiling, yet the tension between Emma and Lily could almost be felt, like static in the air before a storm. Emma stood near the dessert table, her cheeks slightly flushed from dancing and happiness. Her eyes sparkled as she looked around at her friends laughing, her parents chatting with the guests, at the candles flickering near the birthday cake. Everything looked perfect, but deep inside, she still couldn't forget the uneasy feeling she had when Lily walked away earlier with that strange, distant look in her eyes. Lily, meanwhile, stood near the gate, watching everyone. Her hands were wrapped around a glass of juice she hadn't even touched. Her mind wasn't with the party anymore. It was filled with thoughts, ugly, bitter, and restless thoughts that wouldn't go away. She told herself she wasn't jealous. She told herself she was just forgotten. But every time she looked at Emma, surrounded by people, hearing her name being praised, the voice in her head whispered louder, "She has everything, and you have nothing." The whisper of jealousy grew stronger, wrapping around her heart like a snake. "Lily, come take a picture with us," Emma called from across the yard. Her voice was cheerful, full of the same warmth as always. For a moment, Lily forced a smile. She walked over slowly, her heels tapping softly against the stone path. As she stood beside Emma, the cameras flashed, capturing two smiling best friends, one glowing with genuine joy, the other hiding a storm behind her eyes. Everyone laughed as they posed again. "Say cheese," someone shouted. Lily smiled wider, too wide. Her hands were trembling slightly, but no one noticed. Emma leaned close and whispered, "You okay? You look a little tired." "I'm fine," Lily said quickly, brushing it off. "Just the lights, maybe." Emma nodded and turned back toward the camera. But Lily's eyes lingered on her, on that perfect smile. On the way, everyone looked at Emma like she was the center of the world. Inside, Lily's jealousy twisted deeper. Later that night, Emma went inside the house to check the time. The next part of the evening was supposed to be the memory video, a short clip her parents had made showing pictures of Emma growing up, and all her friends, including Lily. When the projector started, everyone turned their attention toward the screen. The lights dimmed, and the video began with a baby picture of Emma. Laughter filled the air as everyone watched her funny toddler moments, her school memories, and her friendship with Lily through the years. The last part of the video showed a picture of the two girls hugging after winning a school award together. "Wow," someone said. "You two have been friends forever." Emma smiled proudly. "Yeah, she's my best friend." But when Emma looked at Lily, expecting to see her smiling too, she saw something else. Lily's eyes weren't soft or happy. They were cold. She looked away when their eyes met. After the video ended, people began clapping. Emma's mom hugged her, and friends came to give her small gifts. Lily stood silently, holding her purse tightly. Her nails dug into her palm, leaving red marks on her skin. Her mind was spinning. She remembered every time she helped Emma with her homework, every time she comforted her when she was sad, and how Emma always ended up being the one who got noticed, the one who was called perfect. Now, tonight, her birthday had become another reminder that Lily was just a shadow beside someone else's light. A quiet tear slid down her cheek. She quickly wiped it away before anyone noticed. Then she whispered to herself, so softly no one could hear, "I'll make her see. I'm not invisible." As the night went on, the guests started to leave. The laughter faded into the distance. Replaced by soft music and the hum of the fairy lights, Emma stayed outside, helping clean up the table. Lily came back from the kitchen holding a tray of leftover cupcakes. "You don't have to help, Lily," Emma said kindly. "You've done enough already." Lily forced a small smile. "I don't mind. It's fine." For a while they worked in silence, just the sound of plates clinking and the soft breeze in the air. Then Emma spoke again. "Hey, can I ask you something?" "Sure," Lily said without looking up. "Are we okay?" Emma asked gently. "I just feel like something's off." "You've been quiet tonight." Lily froze for a second. Her heart started pounding. She wanted to say yes, we're fine. She wanted to act normal. But something inside her snapped. "You really want to know?" Lily said, her voice trembling. Emma looked surprised. "Of course. You're my best friend." Lily put down the tray slowly. "Do you even hear yourself sometimes, Emma? You'll always say that, best friend, but it's always about you. Your parties, your friends, your stories. Do you ever think about how I feel?" Emma blinked, taken aback. "Lily, what are you talking about?" I didn't mean no, you never do." Lily interrupted, her voice breaking. "You never notice how hard I try to be there for you. You don't see me when you're standing in the spotlight. You just forget me." The words hung heavy in the air. Emma felt her throat tighten. "Lily, I didn't know you felt that way. I never wanted you to feel invisible." "You're not." But Lily shook her head. "Save it, Emma. I don't need your pity." She turned and started walking toward the gate. "Lily, wait." Emma called after her, but Lily didn't stop. The gate creaked open and shut hard behind her. Emma stood there, frozen, her hands trembling. The soft music still played in the background, but it felt like the whole world had gone silent. She whispered softly what just happened. Tears welled up in her eyes. It wasn't the kind of argument where anger burned and then faded. It was the kind that left an empty ache, a space between hearts that had once been close. Inside, Lily walked down the street, her heels echoing in the dark. Her chest felt tight. She wiped her tears furiously, but they kept coming. She told herself Emma deserved it, that she needed to hear the truth. But deep inside, a voice whispered again. "You didn't just tell her the truth. You hurt her." Lily tried to silence the thought. She walked faster into the shadows of the quiet night, her heart heavy, but her pride louder. Neither of them knew it yet. But that night, the perfect day had just turned into the start of a painful lesson neither girl would ever forget. The next morning came with a gray sky and a cold silence that didn't match the cheerful memory of last night's party. The streamers and balloons still hung outside Emma's house, but they looked dull now, lifeless in the daylight. The laughter that had filled the air was gone, replaced by the quiet chirping of birds and the rustle of fallen leaves. Emma sat on her bed, staring at her phone. Her mind replayed Lily's words over and over. "You never notice me. You just forget me." She couldn't believe how things had turned out. Lily had always been her best friend, the one who knew every secret, every dream, every fear. How could she say that? How could she think that Emma didn't care? Emma picked up her phone and typed a message. "Lily, can we please talk?" She hesitated, then pressed send. Minutes passed. No reply. She tried calling, but it went straight to voicemail. Emma sighed and looked out the window. The street was empty. She had a strange feeling that this wasn't over, that something darker was waiting just ahead. Across town, Lily sat on her bed too, scrolling through her phone. Her eyes were red from crying, but her anger hadn't faded. Every time she saw pictures of last night's party, Emma surrounded by friends. Smiling brightly, it made her heart twist. People had already started posting about it online. Emma's birthday bash was amazing. She looked stunning last night. Lily's name wasn't mentioned in a single post. Her chest tightened again. Then thoughts slipped into her mind. Quiet, tempting, dangerous. What if people saw a different side of Emma? She stared at the screen, the idea growing inside her like a spark turning into fire. She didn't plan to ruin Emma's life. She just wanted her to feel a little of the pain she had felt. Just a little, but jealousy never stops at a little. Later that day, Lily met two classmates at a cafe, Mia and Sophie, girls who loved gossip more than anything else. They weren't close friends, but they always had ears for interesting stories. Mia waved her over. "Hey, Lily." We saw the pictures. That party looked amazing. Yeah, Sophie added, sipping her iced coffee. You and Emma must have had so much fun. Lily smiled faintly and sat down. Yeah, fun, she muttered. Mia raised an eyebrow. You sound like it wasn't fun, Lily hesitated. She shouldn't say anything. She knew that. But the anger inside her wouldn't stay quiet. Emma's not exactly who everyone thinks she is, Lily said slowly. Mia and Sophie leaned closer immediately. What do you mean? Sophie asked. Lily's heart raced. She acts perfect in front of everyone, but she's not. She's different when the cameras are off. Mia smirked. Like how? Lily bit her lip. Her mind raced. She could still turn back. She could still say nothing. But jealousy whispered again. You've been invisible long enough. She said some really mean things about people at school, Lily continued, her voice shaking slightly. She pretends to be nice, but she talks behind people's backs. Even about you too. The cafe went quiet for a second. Sophie frowned. Wait, really? Lily nodded. I didn't want to say anything, but after last night, I just can't keep pretending. It was a lie, one that slid too easily off her tongue. Mia and Sophie exchanged glances, clearly thrilled by the gossip. Wow, I knew she couldn't be that perfect, Mia said. Lily tried to smile, but guilt twisted in her stomach. By evening, the conversation had already spread at first. It was small, a whisper between a few classmates, a comment under a post. But whispers travel fast in a world that loves rumors. Did you hear about Emma? Someone said she talks trash about people. Really? I thought she was so sweet. Emma didn't know any of it yet. She spent the evening helping her mom clean up what was left from the party, still thinking about calling Lily one more time. But while she was folding the tablecloths, she heard her phone buzzing, notifications. She frowned and picked it up. Her smile faded. There were new comments under her. Birthday photos, ones that didn't sound friendly anymore. Fake smile? Guess she's not so perfect after all. Can't believe she said that about her friends. Emma's stomach dropped. What is this? She whispered. Her phone buzzed again. A message from her classmate, Jenna. Hey, Emma. I just wanted to ask. Did you really say all those things about people? Emma's fingers trembled as she typed back. What things? I don't even know what you're talking about. But deep inside, a wave of fear rose. Something was wrong. Something big the next day at school confirmed it. When Emma walked into the hallway, people looked at her differently. Whispers followed her like shadows. Some turned away when she smiled at them. Others laughed quietly, hiding behind their phones. Emma's heart pounded. What's going on? She whispered to her best friend, or the girl who used to be her best friend was standing by the lockers with Mia and Sophie. They were talking, laughing softly. When Lily saw Emma, their eyes met. For a moment, Lily's heart stopped. She hadn't expected it to spread so fast or so far. Emma walked up to her, her voice shaking. Lily, what's happening? People are saying things about me that aren't true. Lily's throat tightened. She wanted to deny it. She wanted to say, I didn't mean for this. But fear held her back. I don't know, Emma, Lily said, avoiding her eyes. People talk. Maybe it's just rumors? Rumors? Emma's voice cracked. You were with Mia and Sophie yesterday. Don't tell me you didn't say anything. The hallway went quiet. Everyone nearby was listening now. Lily's cheeks turned red. I just told them how I felt, okay? You made me feel small. Emma blinked, her voice breaking. So you lied about me? Just because you were jealous? Lily's eyes widened. I wasn't jealous. But even she didn't believe that anymore. Emma's eyes filled with tears. You were my best friend, Lily. I trusted you. Then she turned and walked away. Her footsteps echoing down the silent hallway. Lily stood frozen, her heart pounding painfully. The whisper of jealousy that once gave her power now filled her with shame. That night, Lily couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Emma's tearful face. Her phone buzzed constantly with messages. People asking for more details. People laughing about Emma's fake image. She turned off her phone and buried her face in her pillow. What have I done? But it was too late. Rumors have wings. And once they fly, they can't be caught. And soon, the thing Lily started out of pain would come back to her harder than she could ever imagine. Because karma doesn't forget. The next few days felt like a nightmare that Emma couldn't wake up from. Everything that used to make her smile, her school, her friends, even her favorite coffee shop, now felt cold and unfamiliar. It started small. People stopped saying hi. Then they stopped sitting next to her in class. Then the laughter began, quiet at first, but cruel enough to sting. She didn't understand how fast everything had changed. Just a few days ago, she was surrounded by friends, laughter, and birthday wishes. Now, when she entered the cafeteria, the noise seemed to fade. Whispers replaced it. That's her. She pretends to be so sweet. I can't believe I ever liked her. Emma's heart sank as she walked to an empty table, clutching her tray. She could feel eyes following her. Even when she looked away, the weight of their stares pressed down on her. Across the room, Lily sat with Mia and Sophie, pretending to scroll through her phone. She laughed when they laughed, nodded when they spoke, but inside she felt sick at first. When the rumor began spreading, she had convinced herself it wasn't that bad. People gossip all the time, she told herself. It would die out, but it didn't. It grew. And now, as she looked at Emma sitting alone, shoulders hunched and eyes red, something twisted inside Lily's chest. Guilt Mia leaned closer to her. You were right about her, Lily. I can't believe she fooled everyone for so long. Lily's throat tightened. Yeah, I guess. Sophie giggled. You should have seen her face when I told her I didn't believe her anymore. It was priceless. Lily forced a weak smile, but her stomach turned. That wasn't what she wanted. She hadn't wanted Emma to be humiliated, not like this. She looked at her phone and her finger hovered over Emma's contact. She thought about texting her, about telling her the truth, but fear held her back. What if everyone turned on her next? That evening, Emma sat on her bed staring at her phone again. Her notifications were full of messages, but none of them were kind. So fake. Guess karma finally got you. Maybe. You shouldn't talk behind people's backs. She couldn't even cry anymore. She just sat there, numb. Her mom knocked softly on the door. Sweetheart, dinner's ready. I'm not hungry, Emma said, her voice barely above a whisper. Her mom hesitated. You've been quiet lately. Is something wrong? Emma shook her head, forcing a small smile. Just tired, Mom. School stuff. Her mom looked at her for a long moment, then nodded slowly. All right, but you know you can talk to me, okay? When the door closed, Emma broke down completely. She buried her face in her pillow, silent sobs shaking her shoulders. Why is this happening to me? She didn't understand how her best friend could do this. She didn't understand why no one believed her. The next day, things got worse. Someone had edited one of the videos from her birthday party, cutting clips and twisting them to make it look like Emma was mocking people. It spread across social media like wildfire. When she walked into school, everyone already had their phones out. Some were laughing, some were whispering. Others just stared. Her teacher stopped her in the hallway. Emma, I need to talk to you in my office. Emma followed quietly, her hands trembling. Inside, the teacher sighed. I've been getting messages from parents. There's a video circulating about you. Do you know anything about it? Emma shook her head quickly. No, someone must have edited it. I didn't say those things, I swear. The teacher looked at her kindly but firmly. Emma, I believe you. But right now, people are upset. I think it's best if you stay quiet online for a while. Emma nodded, tears filling her eyes again. Meanwhile, Lily watched everything unfold. She saw the video. She saw the comments. And every time she did, her guilt grew heavier. She tried telling Mia and Sophie to stop sharing it. But they laughed. Come on, Lily, Sophie said. She deserves it. Besides, it's not like you made the video. Ellie froze. Wait, who did? Mia shrugged. Someone from class? They just took her clips and made it look worse. It's hilarious. Lily's stomach turned. That's not funny, she snapped. Mia rolled her eyes. Oh, now you care. Lily stood up suddenly, her chair scraping against the floor. I didn't want this, she shouted. Everyone in the cafeteria looked at her, embarrassed. Lily grabbed her bag and stormed out. She went straight to the park, the same park where she and Emma used to hang out as kids. She sat on their old bench, the one covered in scratches from when they carved their initials into it years ago. She ran her fingers over the faded Let TERSE plus L equals best friends forever. Tears blurred her vision. I ruined everything, she whispered. Her phone buzzed again. Another message from Mia. Where did you go? Don't tell me you're feeling sorry for her.
Ow.
Lily turned off her phone and threw it beside her. The guilt inside her had become unbearable. She knew she had to fix this. But how do you undo a lie once it's out in the world? That night, Emma sat at her desk, trying to focus on homework she couldn't even read. Her phone buzzed. A message appeared. It was from an unknown number. I know who started the rumor. Emma's breath caught. She quickly typed back, Who? There was a long pause. Then another message came through. It was Lily. Emma froze. Her heart sank, but deep down, she already knew. She put down her phone and whispered, Why? Lily, why would you do this to me? Meanwhile, Lily lay in bed, wide awake. Her mind replayed everything, every lie, every word, every look Emma gave her. She wanted to confess. She wanted to tell Emma the truth and beg for forgiveness, but she was scared. Scared that Emma would never forgive her. Scared of what everyone else would think. She turned to the wall and whispered into the dark, I just wanted to be seen, not hated. But that's the thing about jealousy. Once it starts, it blinds you. It makes you forget who you really are. And as the night grew quieter, Lily finally realized something painful. She hadn't ruined Emma's life to make herself feel better. She had ruined them both. The morning sun crept through Lily's curtains, but its light brought no warmth. Her eyes were swollen from crying all night. The guilt had become a heavy shadow that followed her everywhere in her dreams and her thoughts. Even in the quiet moments when she tried to pretend, everything was fine. When she finally dragged herself out of bed and checked her phone, her stomach dropped. The video, that horrible twisted version of Emma, had gone viral in their school group chat. Everyone was talking about it. I can't believe Emma said that. She's such a hypocrite. Oh, she really fooled everyone. Lily's heart pounded as she read the comments. She wanted to scream the truth, to tell everyone it wasn't real, but fear still chained her. Every time she tried to type something, her hands froze. If I tell the truth now, she thought, everyone will turn on me instead. A voice whispered, maybe you deserve that at school. Things were worse. Emma walked down the hall, head down, clutching her books tightly against her chest. She could feel the whispers around her like invisible knives. People she once called friends turned away when she passed. In the classroom, no one sat next to her anymore. Even her lab partner asked to switch seats. When the teacher asked a question, Emma raised her hand out of habit, but no one looked at her. No one cared. She sat there in silence, her heart heavy, trying to hold back tears. During lunch, she sat alone again, this time outside, under the big oak tree. It used to be her favorite spot. She had eaten there so many times with Lily, laughing about silly things, sharing snacks, dreaming about the future. Now, all she had was silence. Emma looked at her phone and opened Lily's contact again. She started typing, please just tell me why. Then she deleted it. What was the point? She stared at the sky, whispering softly, maybe she was never really my friend. Inside the cafeteria, Lily sat surrounded by people, but she felt completely alone. Mia and Sophie were laughing about something across the table, showing each other new comments about Emma. Mia smirked. Did you see the latest edit? Someone added captions to make it look even worse. Sophie giggled. Emma should just delete her account at this point.
Hey.
Lily's face went pale. That's enough, she said quietly. Mia rolled her eyes. Relax, Lily. You're the one who told us what she's like, remember? Lily's stomach dropped. I didn't mean for this to happen. Then why did you start it? Sophie shot back, loud enough for a few people to look over. The room suddenly felt smaller, hotter. Lily's heart raced. I said something stupid, okay? But it wasn't true. Mia frowned. What do you mean, not true? Lily's voice shook. I made it up. I was angry, jealous. I didn't mean for it to spread like this. The table went silent. A few people nearby had heard her. One of them, Jason, who sat behind them, turned his head sharply. Wait, are you saying you lied about Emma? Lily froze. She could feel everyone's eyes on her now. I didn't mean to stammered. Jason stood up. Wow. So you've just ruined her reputation for fun? Lily shook her head, tears in her eyes. No, I was just upset. I didn't know it would go this far, but it was too late. The words were already out by the time lunch ended. The news had already spread across the school. Lily admitted she lied about Emma. The same people who had turned on Emma now turned on her. Can you believe Lily made that up? She's the real fake one. Poor Emma. She didn't deserve that. Mia and Sophie stopped talking to her completely. They deleted her from their group chat. Lily tried to explain, to apologize, but no one wanted to listen. By the end of the day, she was sitting alone in the same cafeteria where Emma used to sit, the same empty table, same stares, the same whispers. Now, she was the one people were laughing about. After school, Lily couldn't bear to go home right away. She walked to the park again, sitting on the same bench where she and Emma had shared so many memories. She stared at her phone, scrolling through the posts, the comments, the cruel words about both of them. Her heart ached with regret. Finally, she took a deep breath and typed a new message, one that she should have sent days ago. Emma, I'm so sorry. I was jealous and angry and I hurt you. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I needed to tell you the truth. I'll fix this, somehow. Her thumb hovered over the send button. Then, with trembling fingers, she pressed it. Emma was still sitting outside, watching the sunset fade into soft orange light when her phone buzzed. She glanced down and saw the name she hadn't expected to see again. Lily, her heart stopped for a second. She opened the message, and as she read it, tears rolled down her cheeks, not out of anger, but out of exhaustion, out of relief that the truth had finally come out, and pain that it had taken so long. She stared at the screen for a long time before typing back. Thank you for telling the truth. But Lily, some things can't be undone. She hesitated, then added, I forgive you. But I can't forget. Then she put her phone down and closed her eyes. The next day, when Emma walked into school, people were whispering again, but this time, the tone had changed. Did you hear? It was all fake. Lily made up everything. Poor Emma. She didn't deserve that. A few people came up to her to apologize. Others smiled awkwardly. But Emma didn't say much. She just nodded politely and walked on. Lily was standing by her locker, looking small, broken, and pale. When their eyes met, Lily froze. Emma walked closer. For a moment, it felt like time had stopped. Lily's lips trembled. Emma, I'm sorry. I really am. Emma looked at her for a long time. Then, in a quiet voice, she said, I know, but it still hurts. Lily's eyes filled with tears. I'll make it right. I promise. Emma nodded slightly. Maybe someday we'll both heal from this. Then she turned and walked away, leaving Lily standing in the hallway with tears streaming down her face and a heart heavy with regret. That night, Lily sat at her desk, staring at a blank page. She began writing an apology post, one that told everyone the truth. She explained everything, how she lied, how jealousy clouded her heart, how she destroyed someone she once called her sister. When she posted it, she expected hate. She got plenty. It broke Lily's heart not because of what they said, but because part of her wondered if they were right. One afternoon, Emma found Lily sitting by the old oak tree near the sports field. It was the same place where they used to sit years ago, before everything fell apart. Mind if I join you? Emma asked softly. Lily nodded, her gaze distant. They sat in silence for a while, watching the golden sunlight break through the clouds after days of rain. "I used to love the rain," Lily said quietly. "It made everything feel peaceful. But now it just reminds me of how fast things wash away." Emma glanced at her. "Some things don't wash away. They just change shape." Lily gave a small, tired laugh. "That sounds like something a wise person would say." Emma smiled faintly. "Or someone who's been through a lot." They sat together for a long time, saying little but understanding much. For the first time, they weren't just two girls divided by mistakes. They were two people learning how to live with pain, with forgiveness. And with the world's harsh judgment, Emma finally stood up. "Come on," she said. "Let's go home. Tomorrow will be better." Lily hesitated. "Do you really believe that?" Emma looked up at the sky. "I have to." That night, Lily couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about everything: the lies, the apology, the rumors, the stares. But beneath all that noise, one thought echoed quietly: if the world won't forgive me, I'll still learn to forgive myself. For the first time, she realized that forgiveness wasn't about waiting for others to forget. It was about learning to move forward even when they didn't, and maybe that was the hardest lesson karma could teach. The morning sun rose quietly over the school, but for Lily, it felt like a storm was waiting. She could sense it in the stares, the whispers, the way conversations died when she entered a room. The rumors from last week hadn't fully disappeared. They had just sunk deeper, hiding beneath forced smiles and fake kindness. Emma tried to stay by her side. Even she could feel the shift in the air. Something ugly was brewing again. It began in the school auditorium. There was a student assembly, and everyone had gathered for the monthly presentations. Teachers, students, and parents filled the seats. Lily sat beside Emma, nervous but quiet. She was supposed to help present a short speech about learning from mistakes. It was the first time she'd speak in front of everyone since the incident months ago. Her heart thudded fast, palms sweating. But Emma squeezed her hand gently. "You'll be fine," she whispered. "You've got this." Lily smiled weakly. "I hope so." When her name was called, she walked to the stage, clutching her notes. The bright lights made it hard to see the crowd, but she could feel all their eyes on her. Some faces looked encouraging, others judgmental. She took a deep breath. "Good morning, everyone," she began softly. "I'm Lily. A while ago, I made a terrible mistake that hurt someone close to me. For a long time, I thought my life was over because of it. But I've learned that even when we fall, we can still stand again if we have the courage to admit our wrongs." Her voice trembled slightly, but she continued. "I used to think forgiveness was something others gave you, but now I know it's something you give yourself to, and that's the hardest part." A few people nodded. Some even smiled. For a moment, she felt free. But then, a voice shouted from the back of the auditorium, loud, cruel, and full of venom. "You're only sorry because you got caught." Gasps filled the room. Laughter rippled through a few rows. Lily froze, her face draining of color. Emma jumped to her feet. "Who said that?" she demanded, but the crowd stayed silent. The teachers tried to calm everyone down, but the damage was done. The whispers started again, louder this time. "She's pretending. This is all an act. People like her never change." Lily's chest tightened. The microphone slipped slightly in her trembling hand. Her teacher stepped forward, gently touching her shoulder. "It's okay, Lily. You can step down." But Lily shook her head. Tears filled her eyes, but she refused to leave. "No," she said quietly into the mic. "You're right. I was caught. But that's how I learned. That's how I changed. I'm not perfect. I still make mistakes. But at least I'm not hiding behind lies anymore." The room fell silent. Her voice cracked as she added, "I can't control what people think about me, but I can control who I become after everything I've done." Then she placed the microphone down gently and walked off the stage, her hands shaking but her steps steady. Outside the auditorium, she finally let the tears fall. Emma ran after her. "Lily, wait." Lily stopped near the stairs, wiping her cheeks. "It's useless, Emma. They'll never believe me. No matter what I say, I'll always be the villain in their story." Emma's voice softened. "You're not the villain anymore." Lily turned to her, her expression pained. "Then why does it feel like I'm still being punished?" "Because people love watching others suffer," Emma said sadly. "It makes them forget their own mistakes." Lily looked down, her voice breaking. "I can't take it anymore, Emma. I'm trying so hard to move on, but they keep dragging me back." Emma pulled her into a hug. "Let them talk. They don't define you." But deep inside, Lily wondered if she still defined herself by her worst moment. That evening, Lily walked home in silence. The sky was gray, heavy with clouds. She replayed the assembly over and over in her head. The laughter, the words, the way everyone stared at her like she didn't belong. When she reached home, she didn't turn on the lights. She just sat by the window, staring at the rain. Her phone buzzed with a message from Emma. "I'm proud of you. You were brave today." Lily smiled weakly. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, then she typed back, "It didn't feel brave. It just felt painful." Emma replied almost instantly. "Pain means you're growing. Don't give up now." Lily stared at the message for a long time. Then she set her phone down and whispered, "I'll try." The next morning, something unexpected happened. When Lily entered school, she noticed a few students smiling at her, not mockingly, but kindly. One girl she didn't even know walked up and said, "Hey, what you said yesterday. It was really strong. I wish I could be that honest." Lily blinked, surprised. "You mean, you don't think I was pretending?" The girl shook her head. "No. Everyone makes mistakes. Most of us just don't admit them." For the first time in weeks, Lily felt warmth spread through her chest. Maybe not everyone was cruel. Maybe some people actually understood. Emma caught up with her later that day. "See," she said, smiling. "You stood up for yourself, and it worked." Lily exhaled softly. "Maybe, but I'm still scared." Emma nodded. "That's okay. Being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you keep going anyway." That night, Lily wrote in her journal again. "Today I realized something. People will always talk. They'll always doubt. But maybe the point isn't to make everyone forgive me. Maybe it's to forgive myself enough to stop needing their approval." She closed the book, feeling lighter than before. Outside her window, the rain had stopped. The clouds were slowly parting, and a soft silver moonlight filled the room. For the first time in a long while, Lily didn't feel broken, just human, and maybe that was enough. The following week, things started to shift again, slowly, quietly, like the first signs of spring after a long winter. The cruel whispers that used to follow Lily down the hallways were fading. Not gone completely, but weaker. Some students had begun to see her differently. Her courage during the assembly had surprised them. She hadn't run away or cried on stage. She had faced them all and spoken honestly. Even those who still disliked her couldn't deny one thing. Lily was no longer the same girl who had once hurt her best friend. One morning, while Lily was organizing books in the library, Mrs. Jacobs, the head teacher, approached her with a small smile. "Lily," she said kindly, "the school is starting a new mentorship program for younger students. It's about emotional well-being, kindness, and responsibility. I think you'd be a great fit to help lead it." Lily looked up, startled. "Me? After everything I've done?" Mrs. Jacobs nodded. "Especially because of everything you've done. You've lived through mistakes most people just talk about. That makes your voice real." Lily hesitated. "What if the others don't want me there?" The teacher smiled. "Then show them why they should." For a long moment, Lily said nothing. Then she nodded slowly. "Okay, I'll do it." That afternoon, Emma found Lily by the lockers. "I heard about the mentorship thing," she said with a grin. "That's amazing." Lily smiled shyly. "I'm nervous. What if I mess it up?" Emma nudged her gently. "You won't. You've got something most people don't experience. You know what pain feels like, and you know what it takes to come back from it." Lily's voice softened. "You really think people will listen to me?" Emma nodded. "They already are. When the first mentorship session began, a group of 10 middle school students sat in a small circle in the art room. They looked curious, a little bored, and slightly unsure of why they were there. Lily stood at the front, holding a notebook, her palms sweating. "Hi," she began, her voice trembling. "I'm Lily. I'm here to talk about kindness, not because I'm perfect at it, but because I wasn't." Students looked up. Surprised by her honesty, she continued, "I used to think being popular meant being powerful, but I learned the hard way that hurting people doesn't make you strong, it makes you empty." One of the younger girls raised her hand. "Did someone hurt you back?" But she also got something else: silence. The kind that meant people were finally thinking. And somewhere across town, Emma read the post quietly for the first time in weeks. She felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. The air in school felt different the next morning, heavy, awkward, and full of whispers. Everyone had read Lily's apology post by now. Some people pitied her, others mocked her, and a few simply stayed quiet. But for Lily, silence was worse than words. As she walked through the hallway, every step echoed louder than the last. Her hands trembled around her books. Her once familiar world now felt like a maze of judgmental eyes and half-hidden smirks. A group of students sitting by the lockers stopped talking when she passed. Someone whispered just loud enough for her to hear, "That's her, the liar." Her throat tightened. She wanted to run, but running wouldn't change anything. She had built this mess with her own hands. Now she had to walk through it. During English class, the teacher asked them to write an essay about regret and redemption. When Lily heard the topic, her chest ached. She stared at the blank page in front of her, her pen frozen in midair. Everyone else had started writing, but she couldn't think of a single word. Finally, she wrote 2 sentences. "I hurt someone I loved because I couldn't handle her happiness. I thought destroying her would make me feel better, but it destroyed me instead." Her eyes blurred as she wrote. For the first time, she wasn't writing to impress anyone. She was writing to tell the truth to herself. When she handed in her paper, her teacher gave her a small, knowing look. "Good job, Lily," she said softly. "Sometimes honesty is the hardest thing to write." Lily nodded, fighting back tears. At lunch, she sat alone again. Her old friends still avoided her, whispering behind their hands. No one invited her to sit with them. Then, unexpectedly, she saw Emma across the cafeteria. Emma was sitting with a few classmates who had slowly begun talking to her again. She looked calm, not smiling much, but peaceful. Her hair caught the light from the window, and she looked stronger somehow. For a moment, Lily just watched her. She wanted to walk over, to say something, anything. But she couldn't. She didn't know if she deserved even that chance. Still, Emma noticed her. Their eyes met briefly across the room. Emma didn't smile, but she didn't look away either. And in that short, silent moment, Lily saw something she hadn't seen before. Not anger, not hate, but sadness. And understanding. After school, Lily found herself standing in front of the community bulletin board. A new notice caught her eye: Anti-Bullying Week. Student volunteers needed. She stared at it for a long time. Then, quietly, she wrote her name on the sign-up sheet. Maybe she couldn't change the past, but she could do something even if it was small. That week, Lily helped organize an awareness event at school. She handed out pamphlets, helped decorate the gym, and stayed late to clean up afterward. No one praised her. Some even rolled their eyes, but she didn't care. One day, while hanging posters in the hallway, she heard footsteps behind her. "Need help?" She froze. It was Emma. For a second, neither of them spoke. The air felt heavy with everything unsaid. Lily finally nodded. "Sure." Emma took one end of the poster and helped her tape it to the wall. The silence between them wasn't hostile anymore, just quiet. When they finished, Lily turned to her. "I didn't think you'd come." Emma shrugged softly. "I wanted to see what this was about." Lily hesitated. It's about what I did. About what people like me cause." Emma looked at her for a long moment. "You're trying, Lily. That matters." Lily's eyes glistened. I don't expect you to forgive me completely. I just want to do something right for once. Emma smiled faintly, the first real smile in weeks. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting, you know? It's about letting go. Lily swallowed hard. Then I hope one day you can let go of the pain I caused. Maybe one day. But healing takes time for both of us. As the week went on, something changed. Slowly, other students began noticing Lily's effort. A few stopped ignoring her. One of them even said, "Hey, that was brave of you to admit what you did." Lily didn't feel proud, but she felt lighter. Like she could finally breathe again. Emma, too, began to heal. She joined the event's final assembly and even gave a small speech. Standing on the stage, she looked around at her classmates and said, "We all make mistakes, some big, some small. But when we destroy someone with lies, we destroy a part of ourselves, too. I lost a friend. She lost herself. I hope no one else here has to learn that the hard way." Her voice trembled at the end, but the entire room was silent. Even the ones who had laughed at her before now listened with guilt and respect. When Emma stepped off the stage, Lily was waiting near the back. Their eyes met again, this time with mutual peace. No more anger, no more fear, just quiet understanding. That night, Lily wrote a journal entry. "Emma forgave me more than I deserved. Maybe I can't fix the past, but I can build something better from it. I hurt someone. But I also learned how much pain a lie can cause. I'll never do that again. Not to anyone, not even to myself." She closed her notebook, took a deep breath, and for the first time in a long time, she felt like she could finally sleep without guilt. Outside, the moonlight shone softly through her window, quiet, gentle, and forgiving. The peace didn't last long. For a few weeks, everything at school seemed calm. Emma and Lily weren't best friends again, but they could talk without tension. They'd nod at each other in hallways, exchange short smiles, and sometimes share a quiet moment that felt like healing. But peace, especially the fragile kind, never stays untouched for long. It all began on a rainy Thursday morning. Students crowded near the notice board as usual, but this time there was something new pinned there, a photo. It showed Lily and Emma standing together at the anti-bullying event. Someone had written cruel words across the picture in black marker. Fake forgiveness. Fake friends. Lily froze when she saw it. A few kids snickered, whispering things she couldn't quite hear, but she knew what they meant. The word fake burned in her mind. Emma arrived moments later, carrying her books. When she saw the poster, her face fell. For a second, no one spoke. The hallway buzzed with tension. Someone muttered, "Guess their friendship didn't last." "Told you it was all an act." Emma's jaw tightened. She ripped the photo down, crumpling it in her hand. "Who did this?" she asked sharply, but no one answered. The crowd just scattered like shadows, pretending they hadn't seen anything. Lily's voice trembled. "Emma, I know," Emma said quietly. "Let's just ignore it." But it wasn't that simple. By lunchtime, the rumor had spread like wildfire. Someone had started telling people that Lily only volunteered for the anti-bullying event to make herself look good, that she didn't really care about Emma at all. "Did you hear?" One girl whispered at a lunch table. "Lily's doing all that charity stuff for attention." Another replied, "Yeah, she even made Emma forgive her just to look innocent." Lily overheard every word as she passed by with her tray. Her hand shook so badly she could barely hold it. Emma saw her from across the room, but Lily didn't come over this time. She just sat alone again, her eyes dull, her food untouched. Later that day, Lily sat in the empty art room, staring at the rain outside. She didn't cry this time. She was too tired. "Why does it never end?" she whispered. For weeks she had worked so hard to make things right. She had apologized, volunteered, faced humiliation. And now it was happening again. When Emma walked in quietly, Lily didn't even look up. "You heard, didn't you?" Lily asked softly. Emma nodded. "Yeah, it's not true. You know that." "Doesn't matter," Lily said. "People believe what they want to believe." Emma sighed. "I hate that this is happening again. I thought things were finally better." Lily turned toward her, eyes glistening but steady. Emma, maybe it's karma? Maybe I'm not supposed to have peace after what I did. Emma frowned. No, Lily. That's not karma, that's cruelty. You already paid for what you did. Lily shook her head slowly. Maybe not enough. The next morning, the principal called both girls to the office. She placed the photo on the desk and said sternly, "Someone is spreading this around. I need to know if either of you has any idea who's responsible." Emma shook her head. No, ma'am. Lily hesitated. I think I might know who started it. The principal raised an eyebrow. Go on, Lily. Took a deep breath. Madison. She used to be my friend. We used to gossip together before all this happened. She didn't like that I became close to Emma again. The principal nodded, making a note. Thank you, Lily. I'll handle it. After they left the office, Emma looked at Lily. Why didn't you tell me before? Lily gave a sad smile. Because admitting it means facing another thing I ruined. Madison was my friend once. I just keep hurting people, even when I don't mean to. Emma shook her head gently. Lily, you're not the same person anymore. But Lily wasn't sure she believed that. A few days later, the truth came out. Madison was indeed the one behind the rumor. She confessed after being confronted by the principal and teachers. She had been jealous that people were starting to like Lily again. She was suspended for a week, but the damage was already done. The whispers still lingered. People still doubted. Emma tried to defend Lily whenever she could. But some classmates still rolled their eyes, muttering, once fake, always fake. Lily smiled sadly. Not the way you think. The person I hurt forgave me, and that changed me more than anything else ever could. For a long moment, the room was silent. Then, slowly, the students began asking questions about friendship, mistakes, forgiveness. Lily answered each one honestly, sometimes with trembling words, sometimes with a quiet laugh. By the end of the hour, something inside her felt lighter, like she was finally using her pain for something good. After the session, Emma found her outside by the courtyard. How'd it go? She asked. Lily smiled for real this time. It felt right. Like maybe everything I went through wasn't for nothing. Emma grinned. That's because it wasn't. They sat together on the bench, watching the younger kids run past, laughing freely. Lily turned to her. You know, I used to think the only way to fix my life was to make everyone like me again. But maybe it's not about that. Emma tilted her head. Then what is it about? Lily's eyes softened. It's about becoming the kind of person I can like again. Emma smiled, pride shining in her eyes. You already are. That evening, Lily came home feeling something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. When she entered her room, she saw a small envelope on her desk. It had no name, just a simple note inside that read, Your speech changed the way I see you. I'm sorry for judging you before. Everyone deserves a second chance. It wasn't signed, but it didn't need to be. Lily smiled faintly, pressing the note to her heart. Maybe her story really had reached someone, even someone who once hated her. The next few weeks passed peacefully. Lily continued helping with the mentorship program. Emma often joined her, assisting with small group activities. One day their teacher announced that the school board was organizing a district-wide event called Voices of Change, a gathering where selected students from different schools would share their personal journeys of growth and redemption. Mrs. Jacobs smiled at Lily. I'd like to nominate you to speak, Lily. Lily froze. Me? Again? After last time? Emma laughed softly. This time it'll be different. You're not the same girl who spoke before, and everyone knows it. Still fear twisted in Lily's stomach. What if I fail again? Emma put a hand on her shoulder. Then you'll stand up again, just like you always do. That night, Lily sat at her desk, staring at a blank page. Her pen hovered above the notebook as she thought about everything that had happened. The lies, the humiliation, the forgiveness, the slow rebuilding of trust. Finally, she began to write, My name is Lily. I once hurt someone I loved because I couldn't handle her success. I thought taking her light would make me shine, but I learned something. Stealing someone's happiness only leaves you in the dark." She stopped and smiled softly. "But I also learned that the same darkness that breaks you can teach you how to shine again, not brighter than others, but brighter than your past." When she finished writing, she leaned back and exhaled. For the first time, her story didn't hurt to tell. It healed. The next morning, Lily met Emma at their favorite spot under the oak tree. She handed her the notebook. "Want to hear what I'll say at the event?" Emma nodded eagerly. As Lily read her speech aloud, her voice trembled, not with fear, but with emotion. When she finished, Emma had tears in her eyes. "That's beautiful, Lily," she whispered. "You turned your pain into power." Lily smiled. "I couldn't have done it without you." Emma squeezed her hand. "You could have, but I'm glad you didn't have to." Later that day, Lily looked around the school courtyard. The same place that once held her shame now held her growth. The laughter around her no longer sounded cruel. It sounded normal. She realized that the past didn't own her anymore. It had shaped her, yes, but it no longer controlled her story. Now, she was writing a new one filled with courage, kindness. The day of the Voices of Change event arrived faster than Lily expected. The school auditorium was bigger than she remembered. High ceilings, polished floors, rows of seats filled with students, teachers, and parents from all over the district. Lily stood backstage, holding her small notepad in trembling hands. Her heart thudded so loudly, it drowned out everything else. She took a deep breath. "You've already survived worse," she told herself. "This is your chance to make it mean something." Emma found her near the curtain, wearing a bright smile. "You look terrified," she said gently. "I am," Lily whispered. "What if I freeze again?" Emma laughed softly. "Then I'll shout your name until you remember who you are." That made Lily smile a little. "Thanks for always being here." "Always," Emma said, giving her a quick hug. "Now go out there and make them feel what you've lived." One by one, other students took the stage. A boy who had overcome anxiety, a girl who'd battled self-doubt, a teen who forgave his father after years of anger. Each story carried pain and courage. Each voice echoed through the hall. Then the host stepped up to the microphone. "Our next speaker is Lily Carter from Northridge High. Her story is about forgiveness and finding light again." Applause filled the air. Lily swallowed hard and stepped onto the stage. The bright lights hit her face, blinding at first, but then calming like sunlight after a storm. She looked at the crowd, hundreds of faces watching, waiting. And then, in the third row, her eyes froze. Sitting there was Ava, her former best friend, the girl whose trust she'd broken, the girl who had once forgiven her and then moved away. Lily's breath caught. She hadn't seen Ava in almost a year. Her palms went cold and her throat tightened. But then, Ava smiled. A soft, understanding smile, the kind that said, "I'm here. You can do this." That was all Lily needed. She stepped up to the microphone and began, her voice trembling at first but steadying with each word. "My name is Lily. A few years ago I hurt someone I loved, not because she deserved it, but because I was jealous. I thought if I could make her look smaller, maybe I'd feel bigger." The room was silent. But I was wrong. All I did was lose the only person who ever believed in me. And for a long time I thought that mistake would define me forever. She looked toward Ava, who watched quietly. But one day, that same person forgave me, and that forgiveness became the mirror I needed to face myself. I realized that we don't grow by pretending we never fall. We grow by getting up and making sure we never fall for the same reasons again. A murmur of emotion ran through the crowd. Teachers nodded. Students leaned forward. Lily continued softly, "We all make choices that hurt others. But pain isn't the end of the story unless we stop writing. The same hands that caused harm can also build something good. The same voice that once lied can tell the truth." She glanced down at her notebook but didn't need it anymore. The words flowed naturally now, honest, raw, real. "When I lost my best friend, I lost my reflection. But forgiveness gave me a new one that's kinder, stronger, and more real than before." When she finished, The entire auditorium was silent for a heartbeat, then erupted into applause. Loud, real, powerful. Some people even stood up. Students, teachers, strangers. Lily blinked back tears, bowing her head slightly. She felt lighter than she had in years. As she stepped off stage, Emma was waiting, eyes glistening. "You were amazing," she whispered. "You didn't just speak, Lily. You healed."
Owly.
Lily laughed softly, still trembling from emotion. "I can't believe it's over," Emma grinned. "It's not over. It's just beginning." Then, from behind them, a familiar voice spoke. "You were incredible," Lily turned. Ava stood there, older, calmer, but still with that same quiet strength. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Lily's eyes filled with tears. "Ava, I didn't know you'd be here," Ava smiled. "Mrs. Jacobs invited me. Said I should hear your story for myself." Lily swallowed hard. "I meant every word I said. About forgiveness. About you." Ava nodded, her voice soft. "I know. And seeing you up there, it reminded me why I forgave you in the first place." Lily blinked. "Why?" "Because I saw the real you hiding under all that guilt," Ava said. "And today, I think everyone else saw her too." For the first time in years, they hugged a long, quiet embrace that said everything words couldn't. As the lights dimmed and the crowd dispersed, Lily stood outside with Emma and Ava. The sun was setting, golden, peaceful. Emma smiled. "So, what now?" Lily looked at both of them, her eyes soft with gratitude. "Now," she said, "I stop trying to erase the past and start building a future that honors it." Ava nodded. "That sounds like a good place to start." They laughed softly, the kind of laugh that comes from release, from finally being free. That night, Lily wrote one last line in her notebook. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting what happened. It means choosing to remember without hate. She closed the notebook and smiled. The same hands that once tore her world apart were now rebuilding it, one honest word at a time. The morning after the event, Lily woke up feeling lighter than she had in years. The sun streamed through her window, golden and warm. It felt like the world had shifted somehow, softer, kinder. Her phone was buzzing nonstop with messages. Classmates, teachers, even strangers had posted clips of her speech online. Comments poured in, her words hit deep. "This girl made me cry. I wish I had her courage." Emma had already sent 10 messages in a row. "You're trending, Lily. Everyone's talking about your speech." Lily smiled, still in disbelief. For the first time, she wasn't scared of people seeing her. She wasn't hiding anymore. She got up, made herself some tea, and opened her old leather notebook, the one that once held her regrets. Now it felt like a symbol of her growth. She flipped through the pages filled with scribbled quotes, tear stains, and unfinished thoughts. That's when she noticed an envelope lying under the door. No name, no address, just her name in neat handwriting. Lily Carter. Her heart skipped. She sat on the edge of her bed and opened it carefully. Inside was a letter written in blue ink. The handwriting looked shaky at first, and steadier, as if the writer had been nervous but determined. It read, "Dear Lily, you don't know me, but I was in the audience yesterday. I wasn't supposed to be there. I didn't even go to your school. My cousin invited me, and I went only because I didn't want to be alone. For a long time, I've been in a dark place. I thought no one would understand. I made mistakes, bad ones. I hurt people, and I hated myself for it. Last week, I wrote a letter to say goodbye, but then I heard your story. The way you spoke about forgiveness, about rebuilding yourself after breaking someone else. It felt like you were speaking directly to me. I went home and tore up that letter. Thank you, Lily. You saved me even though you don't know me. A girl who finally believes she can change." Lily read the letter again and again, her eyes filling with tears. Her hands shook, the words blurred. She pressed the paper against her chest and whispered, "Oh my God." Emma, who had just arrived to drag Lily to breakfast, froze at the door. "Hey, what happened? Why are you crying?" Lily looked up, smiling through her tears. "Someone wrote me a letter. She said my speech saved her life." Emma's eyes widened. What? That's incredible. Lily nodded slowly. I never thought my pain could help someone else's healing. Emma sat beside her. That's the thing about truth. When it's spoken from the heart, it finds the people who need it most. Lily folded the letter gently and placed it in her notebook. I used to think I was a mistake, she said softly. But maybe I was just part of someone else's lesson too. She smiled faintly. And maybe this is what karma really means, not punishment, but learning. Growth. Emma grinned. See, told you? The world needed to hear your story. Lily laughed through her tears. I just didn't expect the world to talk back. Later that evening, Lily walked to the park near her house. The sun was setting again, orange and pink across the sky. Children laughed in the distance. The same bench where she had once sat alone now felt like a place of peace. She pulled out the letter once more, reading the last line aloud. A girl who finally believes she can change. Her voice trembled. I hope she does, she whispered. A soft breeze brushed past her face. In that quiet moment, she closed her eyes and prayed. Not for forgiveness this time, but for strength to keep helping others. When she got home, she found a message request on social media from someone named Clara M. The profile picture was simple. Ow. Flower drawn in pencil. The message said, Hi, Lily. I'm the girl who wrote you the letter. I hope it was okay that I sent it. I just wanted to say thank you again. You gave me a reason to start over. Lily's hands trembled again, but this time from joy. She quickly replied, Hi, Clara, you don't need to thank me. Just promise me you'll never give up on yourself again. Claire responded with a heart emoji. Then another message. I won't, because now I know someone out there understands. Lily smiled, feeling a lump in her throat. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel like her past defined her. It guided her. That night, she sat by her window, the city lights twinkling outside. Her notebook lay open beside her. She wrote in big, bold letters, Karma isn't always about pain returning to us. Sometimes it's about lessons returning to help us grow and to help others heal. She looked up at the sky, whispering, Thank you for giving me a second chance, and for letting me be someone else's reason to stay. The camera of life zoomed out. The lonely girl who once ruined her best friend's birthday was now the girl inspiring others to live. Again, the same heart that once hurt someone was now healing many, and in that quiet room, under the soft glow of a lamp, Lily finally understood something she never had before. Sometimes, the hardest mistakes create the most beautiful changes. A week had passed since Lily received the letter from Clara. Each morning, she woke up feeling different, lighter, yet more aware of her purpose. The event, the applause, the forgiveness. All of it had changed something deep inside her, but the letter, that simple, trembling message from a stranger had changed her heart. Every time she reread it, she remembered why pain must be shared, not buried. Because when shared, it turns into strength, not shame. One afternoon, Lily sat at her favorite cafe near the school. She was sipping hot chocolate, her notebook open beside her, when her phone buzzed. It was a new message. Clara, hey Lily. I'm coming to your school next week for the open writing workshop. I'd love to meet you. If that's okay? Lily smiled so wide she almost spilled her drink. She quickly typed back, Lily, of course it's okay. I'd love to meet you too. You have no idea how much your letter meant to me. That week passed slower than any other. She kept wondering, what does Clara look like? Is she shy? Is she nervous like I was? Finally, the day arrived. The school auditorium was buzzing again. Tables with notebooks, pens, and students chatting about stories and dreams. Lily stood near the entrance, scanning faces. Then she saw a girl walking in slowly, head down, clutching a small journal. Her hair was dark, tied in a simple braid. Her eyes, though shy, held something familiar. Not fear, but quiet hope. She looked up, and their eyes met. Clara? Lily asked softly. The girl nodded, smiling nervously. Hi, Lily. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Lily stepped forward and hugged her, Not a polite hug, but a real one. The kind you give someone whose soul you already know. They sat together at a table near the window. Clara's hands trembled slightly as she opened her journal. "I've never done something like this before," she admitted. "Meeting someone who changed my life?" Lily smiled. "And I've never met someone who reminded me why mine was worth changing." They both laughed softly, the kind of laughter that comes after long nights of tears. For the next hour, they talked like old friends. Clara told her about her struggles, the guilt she carried after losing a friend she betrayed, the loneliness that followed, and how she thought she'd never find peace again. Lily listened, her eyes glistening. "You sound like me. A few years ago," she said. "But look where you are now. You're brave enough to face your truth. That's where healing starts." Clara nodded. "When I heard your speech, I thought, if she can be forgiven, maybe I can forgive myself too." Lily reached over and squeezed her hand. "You already did the moment you chose to keep living." As the workshop began, the teacher, Mrs. Jacobs, stood on stage and smiled. "Today," she said, "we're writing stories about moments that changed our lives." Clara looked at Lily and whispered, "Guess we both already have ours." They both laughed. Opening their notebooks, hours passed like minutes. The room was filled with the soft scratching of pens and the occasional sniffle of someone writing something raw at the end. Mrs. Jacobs asked if anyone wanted to share. Clara hesitated but raised her hand. She walked up to the microphone, nervous, shaking but determined. Lily watched proudly from the front row. Clara began, her voice quiet but steady. "My name is Clara, and I once thought my story was over. But then I met someone who taught me that even broken stories can be rewritten." The audience leaned in. "I used to believe forgiveness was something you waited for. But I've learned. Sometimes you have to give it to yourself first." Her voice grew stronger. "This girl, Lily Carter, showed me that even after hurting others, you can still become someone who helps them. And if she can, maybe we all can." There was silence for a moment, then applause, gentle at first, then louder and louder. Lily stood, clapping through her tears. Afterward, Clara came back to her seat, eyes watery. Lily hugged her tightly. "You were incredible," she whispered. Clara smiled. "You gave me the courage." Lily shook her head. "No, Clara, you gave it to yourself. I just reminded you it was still there." When the day ended, the two walked outside together. The air was cool, the sky painted orange and gold. Clara looked thoughtful. "Do you ever wish you could go back and undo the things that hurt people?" Lily took a long breath. "I used to. Every single day. But now I think, if I erased all my mistakes, I'd erase all my growth too." Clara smiled. "That's beautiful." Lily looked at her, eyes soft. "Maybe that's what karma really means. Not punishment, but transformation. What you send out comes back. Not to hurt you, but to teach you." Clara nodded. "Then I guess I just learned one of my biggest lessons." They stood quietly, watching the sun dip behind the trees. Lily reached into her bag, pulled out her notebook, and tore out a page. She wrote something quickly and handed it to Clara. Clara read it aloud. Smiling through tears, the story of forgiveness doesn't end when someone says sorry. It ends when hearts finally learn to beat in peace again. Clara folded the note carefully. "I'll keep this forever," Lily smiled. "Good. But remember, the next story you write is yours. And it doesn't have to start with pain." Later that night, Lily sat by her window again. The letter from Clara and her own speech certificate were pinned side by side on her wall, reminders of how far she'd come. She looked at the stars and whispered, "For giving me a second chance, not just to be forgiven, but to forgive." Her phone buzzed. A message from Ava, her first best friend. "Ava, I saw the video of your speech online again. You've become someone I'm proud to call my friend."
Oh.
Lily's heart filled with warmth. She typed back, "Lily, you were the first one who believed I could change. I'll never forget that." She set the phone down and smiled through quiet tears. The screen faded on a soft image. Lily, Clara, and Emma sitting together weeks later at the park. Laughing, writing, living without fear. The girl who once ruined her best friend's birthday had finally written her last chapter of regret and her first chapter of purpose. Because sometimes, karma isn't cruel. It's kind enough to teach you until you finally become who you were meant to be.